Today on Inside Bikes, I'm riding a really quirky and interesting machine. It's the Husqvarna Svartpilen 801. So, bit of a history lesson. You may or may not be familiar with Husqvarna, but its roots go to Sweden. They were involved in motocross like so much of the Swedish motorcycle industry. And in the heydays, they were absolutely at the top of the game. When it's a bit of a decline, they've been through various owners, BMW. They're now part of the Pira Group, the Pira Mobility Group, which includes KTM as its flagship brand. And this, I suppose, due to that, is a little bit of a rebadged KTM. So Husqvarna's range is based around KTM technology. So they've got the 125s and what they call the 401 models, which is based on the KTM 390. And this, under the skin, a lot of it 799cc, 105 brake horsepower engine, comes from the KTM Duke 790. Now I kind of like what KTM are doing. They've got a really focused and actually quite niche brand. They paint everything bright orange and they plaster Ready to Race all over it. So it's kind of hard to see KTM being able to make a really diverse bunch of models. Things like, you couldn't see them doing a cruiser or a scooter, and could you see them doing a retro bike? I don't know. But that's where Husqvarna comes in. They're able to take this KTM platform and create something a little bit more funky, a little bit more retro, and a little bit less orange, a lot less orange than you would find a KTM. So as I say, underneath you've got the mechanicals of a KTM Duke 790. Now I hadn't ridden that bike before and absolutely blew me away. This bike just is so much fun and, to be honest, makes you want to do bad things. The response from that engine is phenomenal. A little bit at odds with the looks. I think the looks are quirky, unconventional, a bit odd, a bit of a hodgepodge, but I actually think it's deliberately designed to do that. Everywhere you look, there's little features, the fuel cap, the fly screen, and they sort of juxtapose against this really modern TFT dashboard. You've got all the riding modes that you could possibly want. You've got really high-end WP suspension, fully adjustable. WP, of course, because it's part of the same Pira Mobility Group range. But then they've kind of put the retro off-road style tyres, the Pirelli MT60s, which, you know, I've ridden on loads of bikes with those in the past, things like the Ducati Scrambler being the most notable. And you look at the block pattern and you just think these are going to be rubbish on the road. And then you ride them and you realise that they're really, really competent road tyre. You don't feel those blocks move at all. They're staggering. But look, it isn't going to be to everyone's taste. And honestly, I'm a bit on the fence, but one thing you can never accuse it of being is boring. It really, every time you look at this bike, you see something about it that makes you go, oh, yeah, woo. And I like that. But it was the riding that kind of surprised me. I love the riding position. You sort of elbows up a bit, sort of motocross style. You've got the crossbar in there. Again, it's a little bit of a juxtaposition of everything going on. And you turn the throttle and the crispness of the response, it just hauls and it feels so light and agile. The riding position is a little bit taller than you might expect from a sort of naked middleweight. And overall, you know what, this is a bike that I had no real preconceptions of. I wasn't sure what to expect. First time I rode it, put a massive smile on my face. The only real gripe I've got about it is around town it's sort of not maybe quite as easy to ride as some bikes. It is where you can really feel that KTM Duke lineage is the lack of turning circle. You know, KTM call their Duke 790 the scalpel, and it is a real feisty machine. So you've not got much turning circle, it's very sporty, and although they've changed things around, you've got, for example, the steering damper, which shows you how aggressive the geometry would be without it. But overall, I'm blown away by this bike. It is something that I probably didn't expect to like particularly, and I think what it gives you is it gives you a really refreshing alternative to stuff like the KTM Duke, like this Triumph Street Triple. You know, if you like that kind of bike but you want something a little bit more distinctive, a little bit more quirky, a little bit more individual that maybe has a bit of customization in it, this is definitely worth considering. Good job.